Hi there. So let me give you basically a summary of what is going on or happening in the east of Congo, in Goma. So today in the morning, there have been reports from the SAMI DRC, that is the South African Development Community Troops, that are based mostly in the city of Goma, a city of close to 2 million people. Now it's more than that because we have refugee camps around the city that have close to 6 million people. So definitely the population around this city now could be between 8 to 9, even 10 million people if you include the refugee camps that are like this one here, containing this one, the two of them here. You can see this camp here in this place called Mugunga. This is the Mugunga area, right? This is the old one, the old refugee camp, and this is the new one. As you can see, the new one doesn't have regular camps or tents that are lined up in a straight line like the previous one, but both are refugee camps, and this one here contains more than 100,000 people. And slightly to the north of this is where you find the MONUSCO camp. This is the MONUSCO camp, and this is the Bangladeshi army camp, part of the United Nations peacekeepers, this one. And now back to the story is that, as you know, for now, Rwandan troops keep crossing the border through this territory here in this. They use this Virunga National Park, so they cross through here mostly when they are coming from Rwanda. So they cross between Ruhengeri. They use this road. They go through the Virunga National Park, and after that, they come to slightly north of Mount Nyiragongo, this side, and that's where they are positioned. Those ones are Rwandan Defense Force coming to Congo to reinforce the M23. Now on the eastern part or the western part and the north, that's when you find the M23 elements, and also of course with some Ugandan troops and other Rwandan troops out there. But the battalion that is usually fighting along the Nyiragongo is almost 100% Rwandan troops, and when they get closer to these camps, they shell them. So in the last 1 week, they've been trying to shell the basically SAMI DRC, that is the South African Development Community Troop camp located in Sake. Now I am going to take you to Sake. This is the town of Sake, which is about 24 kilometers northwest of the city of Goma, and there you can find the camp there. This camp is the UN Sake camp. It's also the MONUSCO camp. It's also a logistic hub for the United Nations High Commission for Refugee and Peacekeeping group that is there. Now, slightly to the north here, what you see here, this is a camp that is now in the hands of the South African Development Community Troops, or rather the SAMI DRC, right? And not far from there, you also have the Congolese army kind of logistic hub, right? So all these camps are almost in the same location. As you can see, this is the Mubambiro region. Bambiro is the hill there, so Mubambiro is the territory, and it's basically in Sake. It's been shared many times by this Rwandan contingent that comes here, and they did it last week on Thursday and Friday. And also something else is that this South African Development Community, particularly the South African team, keep sending their troops to patrol this road from Sake all the way to Mushaki. In Mushaki, we also have a UN camp. We also have a refugee camp nearby, this one here. So this is the UN camp in Mushaki. It is also in charge of a smaller camp there for some internally displaced people. This is the town of Mushaki, and this road goes all the way to Bihambwe and then to Rubaya. So that's what is happening. Now, the South African troop usually do patrol daily between Sake and Mushaki, basically the normal routine patrol. And what happened last week is that we saw these Rwandan troops together with some elements of the M23 attacking or laying ambush to one of the South African convoy, where 2 Land Cruiser pickups were destroyed and 1 heavily armored MRAP vehicle from South Africa was also disabled. The rear wheels were kind of short, so it was disabled. 2 South African troops were killed according to the M23 and so on. And then on Friday, the South African soldiers retaliated. So what they did was that they were able to pinpoint the exact location of these rebels, the M23, in this territory, and shelled it using precise ammunition or precise shells. And according to the report that came out of there, about 65 M23 fighters were injured and more than 70 died, including a Rwandan Defense Force Lieutenant Colonel. A Lieutenant Colonel from the Rwandan Defense Force is among those who are killed. So those are stories that we are still kind of trying to verify, but definitely I would believe the South African team, because I don't see why they would be giving us fake information, right? Because they are there to kind of help Congo fight these rebels. So that is the latest story. Another thing that happened last week, the M23 was trying to they actually sent 300 fighters in this town called in this territory, or the town called Kanyabayonga. So Kanyabayonga is a very strategic town. Why? Because today M23 controls Ruchuru, and particularly the town of Kiwanja. That is their base. And actually the communities there are not even trying to post them, because they are friendly to the M23 or to these Tutsi fighters. It's historical. They've been friendly for them for many years. And the communities there are what we call the Bahunde. And they have a king there of the Muhunde king, or Buito. It's called the Buito kind of chieftains. And they basically coexist with them because they have one common enemy. The Bahunde, who are Bantus, have the Hutus being their enemies since the time the Hutus came from Rwanda in 1956. The Bahunde never liked the Hutus, saying that they were coming to invade their territory. And after that, the Bahunde have been trying to align themselves over the years with the enemies of the Hutu, which happens to be these M23 fighters. And that's why now, today, the headquarters of the M23 is in Kiwanja, which is a town in Buito, and it is part of the Buito chieftains, as I said, and it's very close to Ugandan border. You can see Bunagana over there. So they were trying now to take Kanyabayonga, right, because it is right at the junction of the road from Butembo in the north and Benin going south to Goma, basically to Sake, then Goma, and also the road that branches off all the way to the border of Uganda. So they have Kiwanja. Definitely they moved up all the way. They wanted this town so that they can also control the movement of vehicles there. So they made heavy resistance there today in the morning and yesterday, and it said close to 100 of them may have suffered, either died or injured. And that is the latest story. So the fighting has been between the South African Development Community troops. As you can see from some of these videos, what you're seeing is the MRAP vehicle being evacuated by the Rwandan Defense Force after they were able to restore the wheels. The rear wheels that I said were shot. So, and then some soldiers that were there got out and went to the other vehicles and left. But 2 of them died. 2 South African troops were killed there. But what happened is that they left these 2 pickups that were damaged, and this MRAP, you're seeing here, has been repaired by the Rwandan M23 rebels, and it's being taken to, according to the stories, to Kichanga. Others are saying it's headed to Mweso. So definitely it's using this road. It's going somewhere north, Mweso there, or maybe it's continuing beyond Mushaki to Masisi. My guess is that it's coming to this place, Masisi here. That's where they're bringing it, because that's the same place that we have seen Rwandan troops operating a surface-to-air missile system and a smaller radar, a kind of mobile radar, to try to deter the Congolese jets from bombing the M23 positions. So that is the latest story.